first I'll just kind of run through. This is the administrative station workstation. So this is, as it kind of says, the administrative side of stuff. So this is where, you know, us as an integrator do our programming, all the configuration of the doors and door contacts, request exit locks, all that stuff, configuration of a complete door, all that is done here. And then you'll have what y'all would use most of the time is going to be, you know, schedules, events, creating personnel records, clearances, those sorts of things. This site, you know, is fairly small in comparison to some of the other ones as far as partitioning the systems and stuff like that. So we don't have any of that in place. I mean, it's one building, one system, so it's pretty simple from an admin side of it.
Morning.
So what I'll show you first is kind of the hardware, give you kind of an overview of what the system kind of looks like. So in this building, this is what's called the hardware folder, and those are our 4 panels. So there's 2 on the first floor IDF and 2 on the 6th floor IDF. So panel 1 and 2 right here are on the first floor IDF, and 3 and 4 are on the second. If you expand these are going to show us, start getting into kind of our hardware and what's associated to each panel. So if you ever have to troubleshoot something on a door or whatnot, and you want to know what panel that belongs to, there's a couple of different ways. This gives you more of a visual hierarchical look at what, you know, how it's laid out. But if you want to see all the doors on panel 1 that we've built, those are all the doors that reside on panel 1. What makes up a door, and this is what we program, is we create a new door, we assign a door contact, a lock, relay, you know, request to exit. We do some different, you know, shunning the DSM, which is all normal stuff, so that when the REX is active, the door contact is not. That way you're not getting false door held or door forced alarms. Your timing, this may be something that y'all find that you may want to adjust on some doors. Like this one I changed a little bit ago because building pressure and the closer and all that, before it would close, it would cause a door held alarm. The default on these are all 10 seconds. Yeah, the default on all the doors are 10 seconds. So once that 10 seconds, if the door isn't shut within that 10-second time frame, it's going to throw a door held alarm. Obviously, if somebody purposefully enters through the door without badging, or, you know, kicks a door in or uses a key, that's going to generate a forced door alarm. So those will all show up. I'll show you the monitoring station here in a little bit. There's a lot of activity going on in the building. You'll actually see some of that. But, you know, in a normal day-to-day function, you shouldn't be seeing a lot of those alarms coming in. How y'all are monitoring that, I don't know. If y'all are looking at that stuff live, or if you see if there's a problem somewhere, then that, you know, that's a building kind of like this. That's kind of, you know, without a command and control area where you actually have guards and stuff watching cameras and all this stuff in real time. Most of the time you're looking at history. So your cameras, you're going to be doing playback. You know, here you can do what's called journal requests, and you can actually see what's being taken place, you know, throughout a date and time, if you need to track something down. But here, this is where you're going to adjust that timing. If you have a particular door that you want to, you know, on a valid card read, or if it's a mag lock and you have a request to exit that unlocks the door when you hit a motion detector or crash through a crash bar, you can adjust that unlock time if you want that door to stay unlocked for a longer period of time. If you find there's a, you know, back of stairway or back of house doors, and you've got a lot of stuff moving in and out, you know, you may want to bump that up so it's not just unlocked for 5 seconds. You may be, you know, you may want that to you
Like
know,
a longer delay.
extend that time. If it's one-off stuff, you can do that with manual action. You can do a momentary unlock on it for a specific amount of time. Just keep in mind when those doors close, the default programming on the system on the door, you badge the door, you open it, it's going to stay unlocked for 5 seconds. Whenever the shunt time on this particular, the front lobby here is 10 seconds. So when the door closes, the contact makes back up, then the door is going to automatically relock. You can actually delay the relock on that to expire when the shunt time expires. So again, if you say the 105E doors that are back here to the dock, that's something that you might be carrying material in and out, and you don't want to generate an alarm or prop the door. You could have, a badge read keep it locked for a minute or two and tell it to delay the relock so that it doesn't lock that down. That way you can open and close that door without it, generating any alarms. Areas and zones, you're not doing any kind of intrusion or Berg integration on here, so that's something that you really, won't mess with. Double swipe is a feature that once it's enabled and you define whether it's people with a certain clearance or people that belong to a certain personnel group with a specific clearance or has clearance to that door, what the double swap does, and we use this a lot of times, like in college environments, where a professor wants to open up his door, he can double swap it and it'll remain unlocked until he goes back and double swaps it again. So it'll hold that door in an unlocked position without you going in here and creating a manual action. You can go up to a door, double swap it, and leave that door unlocked for that period of time. And then typically on the back end, we create like a scheduled event at the end of the day that would cancel any double swaps. That way if somebody forgets to do that, because the door's going to stay unlocked until it's either canceled or somebody manually double swaps that door again. So that's a feature that can be added on as well. Triggers, these are things, that based off of an action of really anything in the system. For example, this button here.
Did you know about the button?
No. I wonder where it was going to be.
It's been there for a while.
Got it.
Yeah, it was put in a couple weeks ago.
The bad thing about that is you can't see what you're pushing, so if it's got the loading dock also, they're going to close the loading dock. How many buttons are under there?
Just one.
Just
This
one?
is just
Yeah.
the front door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all that was on
Spec.
our drawings, yeah.
So how would
when
they open the loading dock from here?
The loading dock from our drawing shows that it's going to be open through the intercom system.
Got it. So
Well,
that'll
yeah.
probably be on another box.
Yeah, there'll be some type of master station
Okay.
that'll be sitting somewhere. I think PDI's
Like
enabling that.
Okay.
Yeah, so if somebody rings the intercom or whatever,
Yeah.
they can hit that button and it'll open up
Okay.
that door. Triggers basically generate, any kind of function in the system, like this button. When this button goes active, we trigger an event that says to unlock that door momentarily for the default unlock time, which is 5 seconds. So these are things that you can add in the system. If you find that you need something kind of that's unique to y'all's situation and how you need to operate a particular area, we can go in and kind of automate things by using triggers and events. Groups, this just shows you if it's part of any kind of type of door group. By default, it's part of an all doors group, plus looks like it's part of a perimeter door group. That looks like something Hector may have set up. Status of the door, this tells you, just like you would see in the monitoring station, normal, alarm states normal, it's not alarm, open status, the door's closed, and it's locked. The double swap lock status unknown, that's pretty much telling you that it's not active. If somebody had double swapped it, you could see that. Door monitoring, this is for additional inputs. That's for here, y'all aren't going to use that. UDFs, there's nothing assigned special actions. There's a lot of this stuff starts getting unique. We utilize a